So as the Supreme Court continues to grapple with the issue of what constitutes protected speech and what constitutes hate speech, the central government keeps coming back to them with a slightly strange proposition about how there's an urgent need to regulate the digital media first. Now, this all is happening in the context, as you might know, of a set of shows being run by Suresh Chavanke of Sudarshan News, where he is talking about an alleged attempt to infiltrate the bureaucracy, the civil services by Muslims in India. Now, he prepared a whole set of shows on this. He was initially, he released a promo which became very controversial because of the language used, the way it seemed to be targeting the Muslim community. This went up to the High Court and then after that to the Supreme Court. At this stage, we're in a situation where 4 episodes have been broadcast, and the Supreme Court has stayed the broadcast of any further episodes till they consider this whole issue, given that they found prima facie that from those first 4 episodes, the intent of all of this seems to be to vilify the Muslim community. Now, as a result, they put this injunction, as we said. The channel is saying, look, this is a violation of free speech. The court shouldn't be putting prior restraints. And, they've defended their actions so far. Now, the central government has been asked to repeatedly to answer a couple of different kind of queries. Some on what is the status of the existing sort of self-regulation regime for television news channels, and also what are the steps which the centre has taken to actually implement previous judgments of the Supreme Court, which had ordered rules to be framed on these to address the lacunae in the self-regulation regime, especially when it comes to TV, because, for instance, there are problems with how exactly you file these complaints and how those grievances are addressed. Now, that's the background to all of this, and faced with these questions, while the court is answering this, the centre keeps coming back with this thing of saying, it's actually digital media which is the more dangerous one, which needs to be regulated. They first made this argument in an affidavit filed just before the last hearing on 17th September, and they've done this again on 21st September in a new affidavit filed before the hearings which took place on 21st. Now, what is the actual argument which the centre is making? Now, they're not saying that there needs to be for sure some sort of draconian regulation of the digital media. What they're saying is that as such, this is, the issue of regulation should be left to the legislature, to the central government, and, to Parliament. The Supreme Court should not be getting into questions of how to regulate free speech, which are not already there in law. Now, what they're saying is that if the court is going to actually get into this question of regulation, then instead of looking at it in terms of the electronic media or print media, for which there already are regulations, so they're saying TV channels, there already is a system of self-regulation, so the court should not look into that. It should instead and first consider regulation of digital media. Now, why exactly are they saying this? They're saying, first off, that obviously, like the way we get the right to regulate TV channels because they use sort of the airwaves, the public, which is a public property, same way internet is also a public property. The spectrum which is used for that is also a public property. So therefore, there is the ability to regulate. But more importantly, they said that, look, there is a whole system of regulation, of certification, eligibility when it comes to print and electronic media. There is, national security considerations which go into before you can even register yourself as a news website, as a news channel or as a news or as a newspaper. Whereas there's none of that for digital media, which can be set up by anyone with a laptop and an internet connection and can be accessed by anyone with a phone and an internet connection. They say that that what this means is that there is a potential spread, and its potential to harm the fabric or the very fabric of the nation is great. Now, saying this is because of the ease of access as compared to TV and print media. They say, you can have even wider reach with the internet as compared to TV channels. Now, what they say is that given that, you have all these restrictions on print and electronic media, there is, on the other hand, and I'm going to quote here, they say, as against this, there is absolutely no check on the web-based digital media. Apart from spreading venomous hatred, deliberate and intended instigation to not only cause violence, but even terrorism, it is also capable of indulging and tarnishing the image of individuals and institutions. The said practice is in fact rampant. So it is on this basis that they're saying, if the court really wants to look at regulation of hate speech, its first target should not be the TV channels, it should be digital media. As we said, this is a slightly strange argument because obviously we've seen the kind of content which is going out on TV. The regulatory mechanism for this has been termed by the Supreme Court itself to be toothless in literally those words. And we see very little attempts being made to regulate any of this content. And yes, while obviously social media and the internet can be used for spreading hate speech and can be used for spreading hate, the TV channels are already doing a rather large job of this. So now, is the Supreme Court going to take these considerations on board? Is it going to instead say that's not what we're looking at here? We need to look at TV channels. That's what's going to keep happening in the court. So stay tuned with the Quint for all those updates, which we will be bringing you live from the court, in fact, and with detailed analysis of all of it.